the 30, 60, 90-day plan. So, and first, let me say that using, say, a month, 2 months, 3 months out is maybe it's common. It may be relevant to your industry, but it may not, right? You may do things on a daily cadence where you have to plan what are you going to do in the next hour? What are you going to do in the next few hours? And so on. Or it could be even longer, right? What are we doing this year? What are we doing next year? But the idea is there's some kind of, we'll call it the short planning period, the medium planning period, and the longer planning period. And it is healthy, I believe, to get into the habit of deciding what do you think you can accomplish in that period. It's about expectation setting, effective communication with your manager. What do you expect me to do? How am I going to be judged? And the idea is, in the nearest term, your knowledge is pretty good about what's going to happen. So let's think about the weather. We know about the weather in the next 5 minutes. We can be pretty good about guessing that. And we can plan for that. But we don't maybe know so much about the weather next week, and certainly maybe not several weeks down the road. So there are situations where you kind of know the situation in the immediate term, but maybe not as much in the medium and the long. So let's say you develop a plan for in this case, 30 days out. This is where I am. This is what I'm pretty high confidence I can do in 30 days. So you develop that plan, how you're going to measure it, what success and failure might look like, and so on. And then you say, well, 60 days, I know a little less, but I still can say something. And I think that generally, if the 30-day works, this is where we'll be at the end of 60 days, and then this is what we can accomplish 90 days, right? So let's say you do that, and then you meet with your manager or your team after 30 days or near the end of the 30-day process, and you see where you are. And you say, okay, well, we were good, we were not, we were effective at achieving our goals, or we weren't. Now we're going to take that former 60-day period and we bring that forward. So it's like a rotation. So we take what was the 60-day plan and we make that the new 30-day plan. We take the former 90-day plan, we make that the new 60-day plan, and we do something for where we want to be in 90 days. And this is done all the time in business, every quarter, every month, every week, however the model is. But you're always planning for the short, medium, and long term, however defined. You're evaluating where you were. You're kind of rotating in the next, or sort of shifting in the next planning segment. And I think that pattern, that discipline, is good. It definitely goes to measuring productivity. It can definitely help you when you come to, say, an annual review and people say, what did you do this year? And you don't want to have to just remember, you've got your plans and you've been in constant communication with your manager about where you need to do, what you need to work on, how you're doing stuff like that. So I think the discipline of the 30, 60-day plan is good. And I'll go further than that. Let's say you have a 30, 60, 90 kind of in your head, but your manager has one also. So you could say to your manager, I know what my 30, 60, 90-day plan is, but I'm curious if your understanding of what I'm supposed to be doing matches my understanding. Because if I'm not doing what you think I should be doing, we have a problem, and I want to be aligned, because alignment is another key thing to business success, aligning with your managers, making them look good and all of that, but making sure that you're doing what you should be doing, setting the right priorities and so on. So as an exercise, you could say, hey, I'll write down my 30, 60, 90 goals. You write down what you think they are, and you could exchange them. And you obviously could do this with your peers too. So if you become a manager, you can use this technique. You can say to people, hey, I think you're supposed to be doing this, but is this what you think you're supposed to be doing? Not that I want your opinion. I just want to make sure that we're aligned. So I raise that as a example, practice. You might not think to do that, but it can head off a lot of confusion where you say, I thought I was supposed to be working on this, and you discover that your team or your manager or the business partner you have or the international office that you collaborate with thought you were doing something else. So that's about making sure that the whole organization, at varying levels of detail, is sort of on the same page.